All right, welcome back to episode 3 of the Top 10 Everything. I'm Gavin Croak.
I am Jeff Croak, and we are back for number 3. I have to do a quick pause.
What?
I've been thinking about that last one that we did on basketball players.
Yeah.
I should have had Kareem in.
Yeah, okay.
That my bad.
Yeah.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should go listen to that one.
Also,
travesty.
Kobe was a little rough.
I think it's.
You're a little disrespectful.
Well, I don't know if I would.
Yeah, you were.
Put it this way. I didn't mean to be disrespectful. I try to be more factual.
You were very.
I'm more blunt. I think blunt is the word versus.
So if that offended anyone, I'm sorry. Rest in peace, Kobe.
Yeah,
you were a little out there, but okay.
No, it's all good. It's all good. We like Kobe. We respect Kobe. We're the Celtics fans.
All right, so
let's tell us the topic. Tell everyone.
Top 10 favorite movies. Either our favorites, just what we like. So you'll get to see a little bit about us, maybe some movies that we'll do in the future. We'll do some top 10 lists on those, as we've mentioned in some of the past videos. So, yeah, we're starting broad, then we're going to get more into more specific stuff as time goes on. So we thought we'd start with a basketball one, a movie one, and then next we thought we'd do a little food.
Okay, I love it. So
we do top 10 fast food restaurants.
I like it. So a little teaser to get you to come back. But yeah, movies are great. We love movies, right? Especially we're still in Corona time. So this is April 7th, 8th?
Let me see.
All the days
8th, yeah.
April 8th. So it's a Wednesday. All the days are starting to blur together. You don't really remember what's a weekend anymore. So we actually have been watching a bunch of movies lately, and that's kind of where this idea came from. So like we did before, we're going to start with some honorable mentions.
Yeah.
The ones that didn't make our top 10. And again,
we're probably going to have similar lists, is what I'm thinking of too, because we like the same movies. So you're probably going to see a lot of the same.
I think it's going to be compelling to see the orders, but also compelling to see which ones did not make it.
Yeah, I think we'll have differences.
Yeah, I think we will too.
All right, you start with an honorable mention. Let's hear one of yours.
All right.
Because I'll probably I did like a whole list of 30 movies that are my favorites, so I'm probably going to do like a few.
Yeah,
I'm obviously going to read my top 10. But
so the first one I put out is the first ever Batman that was done with Michael Keaton and
Jack
Nicholson. I'm sorry, Jack Nicholson.
Which one?
It's just called Batman.
I know, because I know there's a series of movies with Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, so just the first
very first one.
The first one.
Yeah.
And here's why. One is I really wanted to put this in my top 10.
The whole you ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
Yes,
that one.
That's where that came from. And I think this began the whole advent of the whole Marvel universe, because up until that point there were no good superhero movies.
Superman movies are awful.
Yeah, this one with Christopher Reeve. Yeah, they're just. I
know some people they have a soft spot in their heart for those movies, but they're just not good movies.
The staying power's tough. Yeah. If you rewatch them, you just kind of like, eesh, doesn't really hold up as well.
Because those are the first superhero movies I watched. Were those Batmans with you?
Yeah.
First ones ever, and we're big into superhero movies.
I love them. Yeah, I'm a big fan, and
I
thought the way that even you saw how Michael Keaton portrayed Batman is similar to what Christian Bale did later, as well as Ben Affleck, as well as
differences.
No, but the voice, how they kind of have the low voice.
Christian Bale's voice is sick.
Christian Bale's good, but again, Keaton started it, and I think that's what I.
Who else then does? Wasn't George Clooney in one of them?
George Clooney was a Batman.
That was like the ice.
Val Kilmer was a Batman. He was the guy from Top Gun.
We haven't watched those in a long time.
No, we haven't.
I don't think
they're not that good. So that was one of mine.
Okay. I'll give one that I'm not on here. One of my favorites, probably not a critically acclaimed movie, Elf.
Oh, good one.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
Yep.
It's the rewatchability. I watch it every Christmas. It always makes me laugh, no matter how many times I watch it.
Yeah, it's just funny.
Exactly. It's just one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's actually a good one to add.
Probably other than Anchorman, probably like my favorite Will Smith movie. Will Smith?
Will Ferrell.
Oh my God, sorry, Will Smith. Not Will Smith. No.
Close.
Yeah, they look alike.
Close but different.
Yeah, so that's there.
Yeah, I like that one. The one I had, because I think comedies similar to Elf get a bad rap, is Naked Gun. So
and you tried to get me into that. I never liked it.
Yeah,
we
never
watched those
liked
together,
it.
but I'm not. Yeah,
It's a little nostalgic for me because that came out when I was in high school,
Mhm.
and my high school buddies and I used to watch that all the time and quote all the lines. And I mean, even if you think about the sequels they had, one of them was Naked Gun 33 and a third. They just
Mhm.
did things that were out to left field, which I thought were hysterical.
Mhm.
So you have to have a different sense of humor. Comedy never gets the respect it deserves in
yeah. I
these
agree.
types
No
of
one has
rankings.
comedy in the top 10. Movies.
So
Yeah.
I wanted to put it as an honorable mention. What do you got?
All right, another one. The highest of the franchise I had on there, Toy Story 3.
Ooh,
My favorite
good one.
Toy Story movie. Toy Story movies are probably one of my favorite movie franchises of all time. I love Toy Story. It's probably growing up that was my favorite movie. Because like Toy Story 1 and 2, Toy Story 1 was in 1996, something like that. So I obviously
Might be
wasn't
right.
alive, or 1995. And then there's Toy Story 2, obviously. But I was young when that came out. I was very young. Or
Mhm.
I might not even been born yet. I'm not even sure what the years for that. But I know Toy Story 3 was the one movie when I was actually growing up that I got to like see. And it's a great movie. Like I
It is.
rewatched Toy Story 3 and I still enjoy it.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, so like I had all like the action figures, I had everything. So Toy Story 3 was like my favorite movie because I got to kind of see it when it came out when I was younger. So
Yeah.
it's probably my favorite of the franchise.
Makes
And
sense.
2 and 1 are also great.
Yeah.
Even I enjoy 4, but I know
I-
there's a lot of skeptical of that. But going on for a little tangent here, I personally think if people rewatch 1 and 4, I think people would like 4 more. I think 4 is a great movie.
I think they're all great, to be honest. I think if you see any of them, I wouldn't have a problem
Yeah.
watching any of them.
Personally, I think 1's honestly my least favorite. Now watching all of them, because I think 2's amazing. I think it probably goes like 3's my favorite, then 2, then 4, then 1. I think 4 gets a bad rap.
Cool.
But,
Yeah,
okay.
that's a good
Yeah.
one. The next one that I had, and it's kind of a franchise, so it all goes together, is Mission Impossible.
You had none of those on your top 10?
I didn't have any
I
of them
didn't either.
in my top 10. And the thing is, I enjoy all of them.
Oh, I love those movies.
Yeah.
They're so good.
And you have to, the thing with those is there's so much that goes on, and you have to suspend your belief a bit because
they're
some of the
ridiculous.
things are
Yeah, but they're so
preposterous.
fun.
But entertaining, storylines are good, bad guys,
I
good
really
good guys.
struggled. Mission Impossible 3, I've talked to you about this, is one of like my favorite movies of all time. With who's the actor?
Tom
He
Cruise.
died?
Oh, Philip
No.
Seymour Hoffman.
Yes.
Yes.
He's one of the
Great
greatest
bad guy.
Oh, amazing.
Great bad guy.
Yeah, but
You
sadly
need
he
you need a
passed
good
away,
bad
but-
guy,
Yeah.
and he did a good job in that one.
Yeah. That movie was amazing. I've just one of my all-time favorites, definitely.
So yeah, it didn't make my top 10, but
Yeah,
I'm
none
a
of
big
those
fan
movies
of
did
those.
either.
What else you got?
I'm probably gonna go with my last 2.
All right, I got only one left.
And these are gonna go together. Rockies 1 and 2.
Okay.
You'll see other Rockies on my actual top 10 list, but Rocky 1 was tough. Because Rocky 2 is probably my least favorite out of the 4, because probably Rocky Balboa and Rocky 5, definitely Rocky 5 or below it. But out of the Rockies 1 through 4, 2 is probably my least favorite. But 1 I really struggled to not put in there. But I love 3 and 4, and I'll talk about those later.
Nice. So to go on to that tangent, big Rocky fans. I love all of them except 5. I pretend 5 didn't happen because that was just
Tommy Gunn?
travesty.
Oh,
Awful.
it's disgusting.
Awful.
Yeah.
But the scene in Rocky 2 that always bums me out, or just is to me, as a kid, I fast forwarded it, and if I see it on TV today, I still do the same thing. Is when Adrian's in the coma after they have the birth of the baby, and he's trying to read to her.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that should have been deleted from the entire movie.
Why do you think that?
Because it's too
I
slow.
agree, it's unnecessary,
It's
but-
slow. It's
I don't know. It kind
boring.
of builds their character a little bit, but I understand what you're saying.
But then there's one of the greatest lines in all the Rockies when she finally comes out of the coma, and what does she say to Rocky?
I don't know. Oh, when?
And then what does Mickey say?
I don't remember what
Well,
he
what
said.
are we waiting for?
yeah,
and
I
they go,
didn't know
and then
that.
that starts the whole train sequence, which is great, and they run the stairs. So that part is good, but man, that whole reading part kills Rocky 2 for me.
I just think 1's the best because it develops the characters, and I just think 3 and 4 are outstanding. You know what I mean? It's just 2's the one that kind of is like,
Right.
he wins.
It's predictable.
So, yeah, exactly. So I think it's more. I don't know. I just think it's stands out the least. Let me say that it definitely stands out the least because 3 and 4 are so distinct.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, we'll go into that later. All right. So do you have another
I
one?
got one last one.
Let's hear it.
Forrest Gump.
Oh, I I've maybe only seen that one time.
Yeah,
Full way through.
I thought so. A couple things. This was when Tom Hanks was in his heyday,
Mm-hmm.
so he was obviously the lead actor in Forrest Gump.
Yep.
He did a whole bunch of good movies then. Philadelphia, Apollo 13. He did.
I've seen that. That's a good movie. Yeah.
That is a good movie. But Forrest Gump I like because it was so different how they blended
It is,
history
yeah.
into
It's a different movie.
current times. And
I should
wove
rewatch
in his
that because I
character.
haven't seen that in a long, long time.
And the soundtrack's phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
They have all throwback tunes and they combine them. And I thought the movie itself, the storyline, I thought was enjoyable. Not good enough to make my top 10, but again, if I watched it today, I'd watch the whole movie, not a problem.
Yeah.
All right, you got one more?
No, that's it.
Oh, you're
Those
done.
Rocky
All right.
Too. So this is
Here we go.
here we go.
This
so
is
we
it.
haven't seen our list.
We
like
haven't
last
seen our
time.
list.
I think that's kind of fun.
I think
to
it's
do.
better that way.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first. You give me a number 10.
Number 10, a movie I just recently watched for the first time, Memento.
Great movie. And again, what I think is good about that one, didn't make my list. I had it as a potential honorable mention,
Mhm.
and I didn't put it on there. But I'd love to hear why you love it so much.
Oh, it's just my type of movie. You know what I mean? Like the whole I love not whodunit because it's not really a whodunit movie, but like movies that you have to think.
Yeah.
And I love the rewatchability of those movies.
Yeah.
Because that's the movie that's probably one of the most rewatchable movies of all time because the way it's structured. And I just think, like, watching that movie, I was like, I have no clue how this is going to end. You know what I mean? Because I'm just like, what are they going to do to pull this off? Because it's one of the, like, I don't know. Like, I was just, like, thinking, like, what could... I don't know. I just think that conclusion was amazing. With
Yeah.
Then you find out about what's it called? He's like actually Sammy Jenkins, whatever. He's not real.
So yeah, I don't remember it as well as you because I only saw it one time.
Oh, okay.
I loved it when I saw it.
Yeah.
And I've yet to see it again. So I'd love to. To your point, rewatchability I think is a big one.
Oh, and it's just so intriguing. I don't know. It's such a great idea. The
Very
way that
unique.
they pulled it off with like
Yeah.
the whole going in backwards, and the way that you got I don't know, you probably don't know that, but like the first timeline's black and white,
Yeah.
and that goes in chronological order.
Yes.
And the other one goes in is in color, but it goes backwards.
Yep.
And then they converge kind of in the middle, but it's like the resolution of the conflict is just amazing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The way. Oh, by the way, there'll probably be spoilers for movies in this.
Yeah.
If you haven't figured that out yet. But
Sorry, a little late.
yeah. So I don't know, just the way that they like converge right after he kills him. All right, but we'll go on from that.
Yeah.
But it's just I don't know. I just really enjoyed that. It's my type of movie. I love the movies that make you think, like I said. And let's hear your number 10.
Number 10 for me was Hoosiers.
Oh yeah, that's a good movie.
So
I didn't even think of that.
Again, what I liked about it is it hit upon a topic that you hear about growing up. You always hear about how basketball is big in the Midwest.
Indiana, right?
Indiana basketball is like a religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get this story, and everything about it I thought was just so well done. The characters were great. I love Gene Hackman. He's the
Mhm.
head coach. Dennis Hopper's in it. And then the basketball scenes I thought were pretty good.
Yeah.
Enjoyable. And, I had to put it up.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting movie. Not one of my favorites, even though I love basketball. Just, I don't know. I've never really thought of it as being like not as rewatchable, I guess. I'm just not really intrigued to watch that
Yeah.
again. You know what I mean? But
that's
we
fair.
watched that together.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's a good movie. All right.
Cool.
Moving on to number
kick
9.
off number 9.
One of my all-time favorites, Back to the Future.
Ooh.
Love that movie. I love everything about that movie. I've probably seen that movie probably 10 times. Back to the Future. I love it. It's just so. I don't know. It's just so fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything about it is just like all clicks together. I love Doc. I love Marty McFly.
Great characters.
Great characters, right? Like memorable. You know what I mean? Quotable. Everything. It's just I don't know. It's just a good movie. And then even the sequels with Biff and they go like, and then there's the one Back to the Future 3 when they go back in time. It's just like really back in time to like the Old West times. It's just they're all good movies, and the whole timeline with like the picture and he's rubbing away, and then at the dance, and just everything is just. It's very well done with going Back to the Future. Not many plot holes,
Yep.
and it's good suspense. You know what I mean? It keeps you on your feet.
Yeah, that is a great franchise.
It's a great idea too.
And it's a different idea. It's a new idea
Mhm.
with related to time travel. The car is phenomenal.
No, the DeLorean.
The
It's
DeLorean,
88 miles an hour.
just awesome. That's just the oven.
Preheated. So we're getting ready to have the
yeah,
pizza.
we can have
So,
pizza after this. So yeah, good one.
yeah, I love that movie. One of my all-time favorites. You know that. All right, let's see what you got.
So I struggled with my rankings, but number 9 I put Goodfellas.
Oh, that's on my list also. Great movie.
Love the movie. What I think is neat about that movie, it's a real story.
Yeah, that I agree, because the fact and the whole thing about the witness protection program at the end, I think is so cool.
Yeah,
it's awesome, and the fact that even then he's unsatisfied, that he's like, what are you saying? Like the only Italian food you can get is like a bottle of ketchup, and like it's awesome.
Yeah.
It's just
it's very well done.
I love Ray Liotta's narration of that movie.
Yes.
Ever since I was a kid, I always wanted to be a gangster. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
One of the best opening scenes of a movie of all time.
I would absolutely agree with that. And I think also, let's face it, the stereotypes are right on.
Oh, yeah.
Everything about how they describe it and how they do it.
And us being Italian, like, some of those scenes are just so relatable.
Oh.
Like all the families eating together and having big Italian meals. And the scene after they kill, what's his face?
The gangster guy.
They go to the mom's house. They go to the mom's house after, and they have the guy in the trunk.
Yeah.
And the mom, it's like 3:00 in the morning, and they knock on the door, and then in 20 minutes she has a full meal,
sauce, pasta,
for all of them,
meatballs.
And it reminds me so much of my nana and your mom. So it's just like to a T. It's like her personality. It's amazing.
It's very, very well done. So I've always had that
believable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything. It's just it's so good. Like for everything from. I love the scenes, especially in the prison too. When you see what it was like for them, where they had they're bringing in food, they're making a sauce, and Paulie's cutting the garlic. It's just so cool.
Yeah, it's very very well done, and one of my favorite movies.
Yeah. Again, and I think the characters are great.
Awesome characters. And rewatchability is through the roof. I'd watch it all day.
Yeah, but the one thing I don't like about that movie, it's on my list, but the one problem I have, I don't know, I don't like near the end of the movie, the third act. It's just, the first 2 acts I love. You know what I mean? They're like
what do you call them the third act?
Like kind of when it gets to the part when he's doing the drugs. Yeah. And it gets to more like the 90s feel, you know what I mean? Yeah. It gets to I just didn't like that as much. It was just, I don't know, the whole, I don't know, when he started going crazy, Henry, when he started getting a little shaky.
He was trying to do too much himself.
Right, exactly. And then the whole part, it just and it's not a bad thing. I still like that. It's a cool resolution, but it's just that, personally, it probably could be higher on my list. Because that movie's also on my list, like I said, probably higher than where you have it, so that shows you how much I love it.
Yeah.
But it's it probably could be higher on my list. It's a little bit different. Like when the helicopter's following him, everything changes. Like the whole movie, like the whole cinematography, there's just a whole different feel. And it's not that it's bad. It's just I just don't enjoy that as much.
Yeah. No, it makes a lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Makes a lot of sense. That's good analysis.
So number 9 for me. Oh, number 8 for me.
8 for you.
Sorry. The Shawshank Redemption.
Very good movie.
Great movie. Yeah. I don't.
And you just saw that.
And I rewatched it. It's on Netflix. You can probably watch it. But it's a great movie. I don't know. Morgan Freeman's narration's awesome.
Awesome narrator. And I usually don't like narrations. But to your point, I have Goodfellas. I also have Shawshank in my top 10. Mm-hmm. But his voice is awesome. And to me, I know we talked about this. When the warden throws the rock at the wall, to me, that was one of those oh my god moments for me. Yeah. You said you had kind of
that was the one thing. The first time I watched that movie, I was bummed out because I can kind of see it coming, but I had no clue. Yeah, I know most people didn't, but there was just something about it that it kind of I don't know. But it was just it was amazing how they pulled it all together and how they showed it and how they showed how he escaped and he went through the 500 yards of the sewage. Oh my god!
I can't even imagine that. I think I'd stay in prison. I don't think I'd do it.
Yeah, and then but the thing that really shocked me is that when the warden had the kid killed. What's the kid's name? Do you know? Remember? I don't remember his name. The kid that comes in and Andy teaches up.
Yeah,
and gets
his GED for
right, exactly.
Coaches him up on that.
And
he knew that Andy was innocent.
Because his buddy or whatever, he was the one that actually killed him. And then the warden comes out and he has a conversation with him. And then when he gets shot, that really got me. I was like, holy crap.
Great bad guy.
Yeah, another great bad guy.
That cop.
Yeah.
The big cop.
Well, the big cop, not as much. I think the warden's more the big bad guy.
Well, the
now.
warden, but the guy who also did the warden's dirty work.
Yeah. Another great scene is when he's getting held off the off the thing with the cop, the roof, when they're all laying tar or whatever, and yeah,
great movie.
And obviously the scene where he escapes from the sewage and he's out in the rain in the middle of the street. It's just awesome.
Yeah, that's a good view.
I've also told you, I know this is very controversial. Everyone loves that last scene when him and Andy and Red on the beach. I'm just not a big fan. I think it was a little cheesy to me. I thought it was a little corny. I know everyone loves it. Everyone loves that last scene, and they were contemplating even putting that in the movie. But I don't know. It just I think it would have been cool if they kind of left it up in the air to see if they remet. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that would have been cool.
If they left it up in the air, I think they would have forced a sequel.
There's not really much you can do with that sequel. Maybe them getting away.
But
the thing that I really loved about that is when they had the way they set up the fake identity and how he said that earlier with Red. Like, do you think that's the thing? Do you think he was planning that all along? That if he somehow got out, he'd take that guy's identity, which he had all the.
It's a good question. Yeah.
That's the thing where it's like probably because Andy's just so smart.
Dude.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, good one.
All right, so now your number.
So my number 8 is Toy Story, which you talked about before. So a couple things. I know you said you weren't as big a fan, but here's why I think Toy Story is so good. One, concept unbelievable. So whoever came up with that idea initially and actually put it to a movie, I think was awesome. 2, all the sequels I think were phenomenal, but they don't start unless you have the first one. And that's kind of how I feel. Yeah, you can say that. You can say that about a lot of them. But I just, again, and because I was older when I saw it when Toy Story came out, I wasn't as old as I am now. But similar to how you feel about Toy Story 3 is probably how I feel about Toy Story 1.
Well, you were old then. You were like 20.
No, I wasn't that old. But I was
95, 76.
Was that when it came out? 95? Jeez, I thought I was younger. But regardless, I still have a nostalgia because that to me was one of the more successful cartoon movies that kind of put a whole bunch of things in motion. Now, there were cartoon movies before that.
Well, no, you're missing a big part. That was the first ever computer.
Pixar.
No, that's the first ever computer animated movie. Everything else before that was the hand-drawn stop-motion picture stuff.
Yeah.
That was like the first 3D movie. So that was influential for all of animation. That was one of the most influential probably the most influential animation movie of all time.
Because it combined technology.
Exactly. It was a computer animation, and it was full computer.
So that's, I guess,
and it was the start of Pixar, one of the greatest, probably.
Was that their first movie?
It was. Then it was Bug's Life.
So I guess that's kind of, you articulated it better than I did, but I think that just set forth a new revolution of cartoon movies.
Right, exactly. You could probably critically, you probably put Toy Story ahead of the other Toy Story movies, but based on favoritism, I enjoyed the other movies more, but I'd get why people would think that movie's better, because it was so revolutionary for the time. Yeah.
So I had it at number 8. Let me do my number 7. Yeah, good one. My number 7 is Shawshank, which we talked about. So I don't think we have to go over that.
My number 7 is Goodfellas.
Oh, there we go.
We're knocking 2 out right there. We're moving along.
Moving right along. So you want number 6?
Yeah. I just talk. Is there any reason that you have Shawshank above Goodfellas?
To me, the shock factor was...
The shock factor. Yeah. I think that's probably why I don't have it, because it didn't really...
Didn't surprise you.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me, but because when he like mentioned the poster or whatever, and he was like, "It's just me." Like who could have been there? It was just Andy and this whatever her name was. I don't remember who it was. It was like and the girl on the poster. And then when he said that, I was kind of like, "There's definitely a hole behind there." Then he was throwing rocks, and I was like, I thought he was gonna like lean on it or something and fall through. But and I also just think the how relatable Goodfellas is. I think is probably what brings it up for me. It's just like the whole feel of those. I just love it. Yeah.
Oh, I like it. So my number 6 was Rocky 3.
My number 6 was Rocky 4.
Ooh.
So here we go with this. So Rocky 3 is higher on my list, and I assume Rocky 4 is higher on your list.
Rocky 4 didn't make the cut.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I really hate not having it on there. But here's what I would say. The reason why Rocky 3 made it is, and Rocky 4 didn't, for me, is that Rocky 3 introduced who I think, again, going back to bad guys.
Greatest bad guy of all time.
One of the best bad guys. Clubber Lang, Mr. T, unbelievable.
Yeah, I'll get into that too.
I loved all his lines in this movie so much. There was just such a disdain that you would have when you're watching the movie. You want Rocky to win so bad in the first fight, and he just gets pummeled, and you think there's no chance that he's going to win. The fact that they killed Mickey, which was a big, to me, that was mind shattering because no one saw.
No one thought it was going to happen. Right? It's the one thing where it was like the biggest. Like most of those movies are somewhat predictable. The Rocky movies now it's like, whoa, that just like
Mickey
threw
died,
a wrench into it.
And then even more so, the other surprise was Apollo training him.
That was awesome.
I thought that was the last guy I thought would be there.
We have
That's from the very end of the movie. We have a painting
on our wall of the Rocky and Apollo. At the
very end of the movie when they kind of have their fake fight.
Yeah.
As
friends or whatever.
As payback for Rocky training Apollo. Apollo said, "Hey, I want to get one more crack at you," and that's how they end Rocky 3.
And it's like a painting on the wall.
There's a painting,
and we have that painting on the wall right now.
So yeah, we're big Rocky fans.
Yeah, I just think that Rocky 4. Rocky 4 was the most. I don't know. I just love Rocky 4. It was Ivan Drago. I think was probably like the most like unbeatable. You know what I mean? Because like you're looking back and if you watch both Rocky 3 and Rocky 4, you think probably in your mind after Apollo is killed by Drago, which is just
that was another
shock. It was just you never think that's gonna happen either. And the fact that it was just that it seemed like all the odds were against Rocky for him to win that, and it was the whole sequence, the Russian cut, and it's a bad cut.
It's awesome. Great
lines, and everything that Drago says. It feels like because Drago speaks so speaks
little English.
Very, very little in the whole movie in general. I mean, like I feel like every line that comes out of his mouth is iconic.
Yeah.
Like when in the ring, he's like, "I will break you."
Yeah.
If he dies, he dies.
Yeah.
It's just
great
so
lines.
many. Oh, it's just so great.
I think those training sequences are phenomenal.
Oh, the ones in the
music,
woods
and the music.
Right, and when he comes off the plane in Russia, and they're playing like the Burning Heart song. That was on my workout playlist, and I was like in 5th grade. I used to love that, and like all the sequences when he's like running through the snow, and then the two people that are behind him in the car, and he ditches them.
Guys.
That training sequence is awesome. And then everything and then it shows the comparison between Rocky and the snow and Drago
with the
shooting up with the steroids and then with the high tech stuff. It was just the comparison between that showing that like the bruteness of like the woods, and that's kind of similar to Rocky 3, but it's the other way around where Mr. T's like fighting like training while Rocky's in this big like luxury like facility with people watching. You know what I mean? Right. It's kind of like the opposite.
No, it's a good point. And the best part about Rocky 4 is that it ended the Cold War.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you, Rocky. Thank you. Exactly. That was it.
So Rocky 3 was my number 6. You had Rocky 4 as number 4.
Rocky 4 as number 6.
As number 6.
And you had Rocky 3 as number 6.
So yeah, both phenomenal. All right, I'm curious to see your number 5. Top 5 is when it gets real.
Here we go. Top 5, Die Hard.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. I love Die Hard. I just watched Die Hard probably for the first time 2.5 years ago, something like that, and I've probably already seen it 6 times, 7 times. Every Christmas, I probably watch it at least probably twice. Because I know the first time I watched that, we watched it for the first time, the big controversy is whether it's a Christmas movie or not.
I say yes. It has to be a Christmas movie.
Because even if I get the whole thing that it has nothing really to do with Christmas, but I watch it during Christmas. It gives me an excuse to watch it.
Couldn't agree more.
Gives me an excuse to watch it every year. Most quotable movie, probably up there.
Oh, it's up there.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's just so good. And it's so cheesy.
Han's another great bad guy.
And he's funny. It's a funny movie. It's really funny.
Yeah, there's a lot of good lines. A lot of laughing lines.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Do you have that on your list? Do you have Die Hard on your list?
I don't have that.
You don't have Die Hard on your list, yeah. I don't know. I just get so excited to watch it. Everything with the whole gun strapped on the back and he pulls it off. And the quotes are just awesome.
Quotes are great. Hans is you need a great bad guy in a movie like that. It is. A lot of things where I thought I knew where the movie was going and it changed. And I thought
it's a little out there.
It is. You have to suspend. There's a lot of things that he does, like when he's in those vents with the big fans and he's
getting missed by the bullets barely, and he's walking around with no shoes, and glass,
broken glass. I mean, yeah. So you have to suspend your belief a bit, but again, very entertaining. It's actually held up pretty well, I think.
Yeah.
And fun to watch.
All the quotes, everything. Now I have a machine gun, ho ho. That was awesome. That's just so good.
Yeah.
So good.
It's very well done.
And it's a little rough. Like some of the scenes with the cop, a little bad.
Yeah.
There's the one you love to point
Carl.
this out.
Carl, isn't that his name? The cop's name?
Oh
no, Carl was his name in Family Matters. He's the big fat cop.
I remember.
Oh God, can't remember what he said. Oh, Roy.
Roy.
No,
He
Roy.
calls him Roy.
He calls him
the
Roy.
cop calls
What's
him Roy.
what's
I
the
don't remember.
cop's name? God.
It might be. No.
No, it's not Carl. We'll figure
I don't
it
know.
out.
Whatever. But yeah. You could look it up on your phone or something.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah. There's just so many quotes, but there's definitely some flaws in that movie. For example, like you always like to point out the time where the cop gets in the car accident,
Yeah.
right? And then he has like this huge blood spot in his forehead, and then they cut away to someone else talking to him, and they cut back to him, and it's gone. Like it's just not the best movie of all time, but it's just so fun.
Al.
And then
Al.
and then the scenes with him and
What, his boss?
no, the scenes with oh my god, the cop and
Hans?
no,
Oh.
Bruce Willis.
What?
What's his name?
Um,
Oh my god, we're so bad.
Jeez, we are bad. We gotta take notes.
Oh, holy crap. Yeah, I don't know. This is so bad. But the scenes when they're like connecting and he talks about how he's like, I shot a kid.
Yeah.
It's so bad. It's so cheesy and so unnecessary. And they're trying to build like a connection between them, and it's awful.
Yeah, it's a little forced.
It's awful. It's so bad.
It's certainly a little forced.
And yeah, I don't know. I enjoy it.
John McClane.
John McClane. Sorry. And the other movies are pretty good. I think Die Hard 2 is pretty good.
I haven't seen that in some time, so I'd have to
We watched it
rewatch
a couple
it.
years ago.
Yeah,
Like a year ago, maybe. I don't know.
Might have
But
to
yeah, I
rewatch
liked it. It was like in the snow and stuff. But they're riding the snowmobiles in the night.
Yeah, I think you saw that with Mom.
Oh, you might be right. But yeah, I don't know.
Right,
There's
so
a lot of
that's your
flaws.
number
in that movie.
5.
That's my number 5. I'm
All right,
yeah.
I'm going to mine. Mine is No Time to Die, the Daniel Craig first James Bond movie.
Oh.
I love Daniel Craig.
So you put that above Skyfall.
I did because, again, that's
It's the
the first
first
one.
movie, okay.
And so I kind of gave that a little heavier weighting.
Mm-hmm.
I love all of them.
I
I
know
think
you do.
every single one James Bond, and I'm actually excited for the 25th one that's
Mhm.
coming out. But I think every one that Daniel Craig does is extremely well done, well written, good storylines. You can't predict what's going to happen. Again, you have to suspend your belief a bit, but
I think
extremely entertaining.
I like the James Bond movies. When I did my big list of a ton of movies, Skyfall was on there, not the first one, because I think Skyfall is one of the greatest movies of all time.
I do
also.
like that. Yeah.
Probably better than the first one, but yeah, I hear what you're saying. I love the Daniel. I don't like the early James Bond movies. We've talked about that. I know they're
Yeah.
other people's favorites, but they really don't hold up too great.
Yeah, it's
They're
hard to
tough
get
watch.
excited about.
And the
those.
special effects are awful.
Yep. No, agreed. I can't disagree with you on that. All right, give me your number 4.
Honestly, I've been thinking it was tough to put it this low, but Rocky 3.
Okay.
Tough to put it this low. Yeah, it's just everything about that movie. It's
Hey, woman.
yeah. Why don't you come over to my place and I'll show you a real man? Just Mr. T is awesome.
So good. He's so
Hey,
good.
boy.
Hey, boy.
Oh, it's so good. I just like everything from the very first scene of that movie. The very first scene, they're doing the training montage, and they show Rocky beating all his opponents, like killing them.
Yep.
And to the Eye of the Tiger, first time ever showed in a Rocky movie.
Even how it opens up with the belt. Remember they show
The
belt?
best opening
Yeah.
in all movies. the Rocky with the trumpet starting, it's sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, they start with the Eye of the Tiger, just beating up Monchess, and they show Paulie in the scenes.
Yeah.
And then he goes to the arcade and he throws a beer bottle at the Rocky
that
thing.
was
Oh,
so
it's
good.
awesome. It's just hysterical. I love it.
Yeah, it's well done. And then I think what's cool too is you see how much Rocky is transformed when he tries to do Apollo's training regimen. In the beginning, he's so pathetic. It's so bad,
Mhm.
and you're just saying to yourself, "What's he doing?" And then as it starts to click. It's just amazing to watch how quickly he transforms and becomes just a machine.
Another of my favorite scenes is the Hulk Hogan and Rocky
Oh,
Thunder Lips.
Thunder Lips.
Oh, it's awesome. you big meatball. Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how young
And they got
Hulk
Hulk Hogan to do that, which is awesome.
Well, he wasn't that big then. That's the thing.
Yeah, no.
That made Hulk Hogan a star.
Really? I didn't know
Yep,
that.
put
But
him on
that's
the map.
awesome. I just think it's so cool.
Yeah, it was very. I mean, both of those guys were in their prime then.
Mm-hmm.
Stallone and Hogan,
And
Mr. T. They all were in
Yeah.
their prime in terms of their looks and appearance.
It's a great cast.
It is an underrated cast.
Yeah. Mickey's great. It's just the fact that he dies. But that's why I probably put 3 a little ahead 4 too, is that you have Mickey in the movie. I love
Yeah.
Mickey. You know what I mean?
Mickey's
Eat
good.
lightning, crap thunder. It's just I've probably put it like 20 things. So
I think it's great. I think your impersonations are the best.
Yeah, they're pretty bad. But yeah, I just think it's great.
No, it's very well. I enjoy it. Again, that's one of those movies. If you flip it on, you go by TNT, and it happens to be on, you watch it.
Yeah,
You know?
always. The Rocky marathons are on pretty.
Yeah,
frequently,
they're on pretty good.
All right, now we're getting to the big guns. The top.
I didn't give you,
your
I
top 4.
didn't- yeah.
Sorry.
My number 4, you haven't seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
Gladiator.
Oh, wow. You've been trying to get me to see it.
I
haven't seen
have.
it. That's probably all you. So.
So what I would tell you is, again, high watchability factor.
Mhm.
It's a longer movie, but I think the storyline is great. This reminds me almost, and this is, you won't know this, but it almost reminds me like a Dances with Wolves, which was a big, long, drawn-out movie that Kevin Costner did. I think it was like in the late 1980s. But it started this kind of marathon story movie stage. And Gladiator kind of was at the very end of this, where it's a real long movie, but the storyline is so good and the action scenes are really good. So I'm not going to say much more than that because I want you to watch the movie. But I'd put Gladiator. And again, I think the cinematography is great. The acting, I think, is really good. And actually, here's a little tidbit for you. One of the guys in the movie is the guy who just did the Joker.
Oh, really?
Joaquin Phoenix.
That's cool. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
That's a great movie,
yeah.
too. We love it.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
good joke.
All
All right, let's go hit top 3. Let's go hit top 3.
The Dark Knight.
Is number 3 for
Bale.
you?
Favorite. I've watched that movie's always on TNT.
Yes.
Like constantly. I wouldn't be surprised if it's somewhere on a cable channel right now because it's just so good. So good. Christian Bale is amazing in
It's
that
a
movie.
great Batman.
And Heath Ledger is outstanding. We've been talking about bad guys. You need a good bad guy in a movie, and said someone's the best, but he's
outstanding.
oh my god, he's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
I couldn't agree more. And again, that set off a whole franchise of Christian Bale Batman movies, which I think were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Every single one of those is so well done, and they just seamlessly fit into one another.
That's true. That's the thing. The big two I think can stand by on its own. The Dark Knight Rises. So it goes Batman Begins.
That with Bane?
The Dark Knight Rises. Dark Knight. Sorry.
The
The Dark Knight can stand on its own. Number 1, it goes Batman Begins, Dark Knight, The Dark Knight Rises. There's a ton of stuff from Batman Begins, which probably it's a good movie, but it's not great. It's a great origin story. There's a ton of stuff from number 1 that links to The Dark Knight Rises with Bane that makes it so much better.
Yeah.
They just connect it so well, but 2 kind of stands on its own. The Dark Knight. It's kind of like there wasn't really a lot of things interwoven between 1 and Batman Begins and The Dark Knight, but The Dark Knight Rises it does, which is another great movie.
Yeah.
We love making the Bane voice.
Yeah.
And that scene, one of my favorite scenes of all time is in The Dark Knight Rises is when like the football field blows up.
Yeah.
And he's running.
Hines Ward?
Is it Hines Ward?
Yeah.
Is it actually?
The wide receiver.
Oh, I didn't know that. But yeah, it's awesome. The Dark Knight though, the Joker is awesome, and everything. He just I don't know, every scene from the opening scene and they're in the bank when they have the clown masks off and oh my god, it's so good.
One of my favorite scenes is when the Joker gets out of the hospital and he's trying to hit the button to blow up the hospital building.
Oh, and he's in the
And
nurse.
and he's in the nurse.
And he's in the nurse and he just waddles out like
and
a penguin.
so supposedly that was all made up.
Yeah.
Because that was supposed to work on the first click of the
Uh-huh.
button. And Heath Ledger just kind of improvised
Uh-huh.
and just kind of kept clicking at it, looking at it. And then all of a sudden it went boom.
Mm-hmm.
And what's great is he doesn't even care. He just keeps walking
Yeah.
straight and no big deal.
Oh, it's so good.
So,
He's
yeah,
awesome. In that movie.
He's
And he's funny. It's funny. And like the whole story, he's like sick. Like everything when he's like, why are you so? Oh, it's when he's saying why so serious, and he has like the cuts, and he's talking about his like mother and like the father, like the abusive father. It's so good.
what I would say too, which makes it even more impressive, is that Jack Nicholson set the bar so high as a great
Yeah.
Joker.
And he,
For someone to come and do it, even though it was 20 years later, everyone still, I think, had that top of mind when they went to go see this movie, and he just blew it out of the water. It was amazing.
and Harvey Dent, Two-Face, is another great storyline that I think kind of catches people off guard. And when you're watching movies, you've definitely heard of Two-Face before. You know what I mean? He's in the original Batman.
Right.
And watching that movie the first time, you don't expect Harvey Dent to be Two-Face.
No,
not
I
at all.
agree.
And everything from the story where the Joker puts up two like bombs or whatever in the two buildings and puts Harvey and the girl in two separate places, and he switches the location.
Yep.
So Batman goes and you think he's getting the girl, and he gets Harvey, yeah, that's it. And you think he's getting the girl, and the girl dies, and then Harvey gets the thing on his face. And then everything that you find out is when he flips a coin, when he's interrogating people and stuff, saying I'll shoot you. Then you find out that it's actually two heads.
That's right.
Later on, so that he never actually hurts a person, but then that side gets burned. So then it becomes that he actually does. It's
very well thought out. All right, my number 3 is Rocky.
Rocky 1.
Yep.
I don't blame you.
And
another same reason you love the originals.
I love the original, and again, as I think about it, it is the original storyline that he created.
Right,
all these
Stallone.
characters.
Yeah.
He wrote the movie himself.
Mm-hmm.
Stallone demanded that he be in the movie, which was a genius move by him. And I just, again, love the rewatchability, and I also love the fact that he doesn't win.
Yeah.
You think
that's
it's going to
why
be,
I liked 1 more than 2.
Yeah, and I think that's why you think it's going to be this feel-good movie, and I think almost it wouldn't have been as enjoyable if he did win, because
it becomes too predictable.
It becomes too predictable, and it just would be tied up in a bow, and it's not meant to be like that. I think the fact that he was able to stay toe-to-toe with Apollo was the big thing at the end. So I loved it. I've always loved Rocky. That began it for me, so I had to put that top 3.
Yeah, I understand that completely because I love that movie so much too. And I understand people probably say that if you look at IMDb, is that what it is?
IMDb.
I don't know. Rocky's definitely higher than Rocky 3. You know what I mean? It just is.
Yeah.
It's just because it's the original. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's just like for me personally, I just like 3 and 4 more.
No, I get it, and I love 4 too.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me do number 2.
Mm-hmm.
I said Dark Knight.
There we go.
So
That's
I
awesome.
completely agree. I know we already talked about it, but big fan of that movie. So that to me was needed to be in the top 2.
And we have the same 1 and 2.
Same 1 and 2. So we grouped these because we both, I think, had a hard time picking. And
So number 1 on our list, or that we split at number 1, Godfather Part 1 and 2.
Yeah, hands down.
So good. And I like both for different reasons. You can go first, and then I'll get into what I'm saying.
And here's what I would tell you. I would probably put Godfather 2 a smidge higher than Godfather 1. And here's why. I loved seeing how Vito became Vito.
And, what's his face? Who plays him?
De Niro.
Does a great job. And in the way that you hear that him as an actor apparently watched that movie repeatedly and just looking at his mannerisms. Then you look back and it's so similar to what Marlon Brando does in the first one. It's impeccable.
Yeah, it's so well done. And I like also how it's like multiple stories. Like it's
the way they interweave it.
Yeah, it goes back and forth between Vito growing up and then bringing it to the current day where Michael's running the family.
So I don't know if you know this, but De Niro was supposed to play Paulie in number 1.
Yes.
And he ended up doing another movie, which I think it was Taxi Driver. Which is what he actually ended up doing instead, because he got the role, and thank God he did, because Paulie, won't be seeing him no more. That's what Clemenza says, but he not a huge role.
Yep.
And he's the one that obviously shows up sick to work, and allows Fredo to go with the Don to buy some fruit, and he gets shot.
That's right.
So that's when Clemenza takes care of him and Rocco.
And I love the original. Again, it's the first one in the movie series, so you have to like it. And the characters are just phenomenal. And it goes back to a lot of things we talked about with Goodfellas, right? Stereotypes are spot on. They're perfect. And I just love how different the family members are. I always love Sonny.
I love Fredo. I know we've talked about this.
Yeah, we talked about Sonny. I can't stand Fredo.
Fredo's so funny.
He's so whiny, and it drives me.
Oh, he stepped over, Mike! It's awesome. I love Fredo.
I love when Sonny bites his fist when he
Yeah.
gets upset
And
that his sister's getting beat up by
Yeah.
his stupid Carlo.
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 And the best is hello, Carlo. When Clemenza's
Yeah.
and he chokes him in the car.
Oh, it's
Hello, Carlo. I think the Godfather 1 and 2, probably 1 is probably the most quotable movie of all time.
Yeah.
Everything from the line, I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse. And there's just so many. And then in 2, keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Yeah.
It's just, there's so many good lines. If I was going to give a ranking, I'd probably say I have 1 higher than 2. And the
Tell me.
first, so it's really tough for me. I like both for different reasons. Starting at 2, I think Al Pacino's acting in 2 is the greatest acting of all time.
Wow.
Is just the greatest, like, the way that he evolves. And if you look at the Michael and Godfather 1, the Michael and Godfather 2, it's just the difference.
Yeah.
And you can see in the first time in Godfather 1, when he crosses his legs, you know, the
Oh, I
classic
love that,
sitting in
yeah.
the chair, and then you see that evolve, and he does it in Godfather 2. And something that you see, too, the shadows that they use. Like, early in Godfather 1, like, Michael's face is always fully lit. And then he comes into 2, and then all through 2 is always shadows. You know what I mean? And so the way the cinematography works is outstanding. Oh, it's so good. So I think the acting in 2 by Al Pacino, I think, is amazing.
Yeah.
I also think that 2 is probably it's probably the better movie. It's probably like I don't know. It's so good. I really struggle with this. I
It's
flip
hard.
flop back and forth.
Yeah, it's hard.
The one thing, it's long. It's a long movie.
Super long.
It's really long, and 3.5 hours. So that's the difference between 1 and 2 for me. 1, I can name to you every scene in sequential order. You know what I mean? Like, I can like go through and be like, I know everything about that movie.
Yeah, I know
2,
what's coming next.
right.
And what happened before this.
2, not so much.
Yeah.
2 is a little more up there because there's just so much in 2. It's hard to keep track in your head.
Yeah.
So that's why I think 1 is more rewatchable, and it's probably why I like it more.
That's fair.
Because
Yeah.
then 2, I think is a better movie, but the story of 1 is just it's so good. It's easy to follow. It's so fun. You love all the characters,
Yeah.
everything, and there's so many classic scenes. The horse's head in the bed,
Awesome.
Jack Waltz screaming,
Yeah.
"Ah!" just like 15 straight seconds of him screaming is awesome. Just so I'm gonna have to talk more about this movie because I just love it so much.
Yeah,
But
I think what we can do is we can maybe, as a future top 10, we can do top 10 scenes from Godfather 1.
oh my god,
try to
I
rank
love that
those,
so
'cause
much.
I think we could go deep on that because there is a lot
So
to
deep
digest.
because I could probably talk about this for an hour.
Yeah.
Like, easy.
Good.
I just love. There's just so many quotes. Leave the gun, take the cannoli.
Yeah, oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think, again, not a lot of dissimilarities probably from other top 10s, whether your own or things that you would see online or read in a book. But when you watch the movies, and just based on us being normal people that love movies, and we agree to it, it's probably telling you something. These movies are that good.
Another thing, the first time I watched The Godfather 1, I did not like the when they went to Sicily. And the whole thing with Apollonia, the wife gets blown up in the car.
Yeah.
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Beep, beep. I didn't like that. I didn't like it at all. I thought it was a waste of time. I thought it was kind of like you could just take that out of the movie. But the more that I've watched it, as I've rewatched it a few times, I like that. It's like one of my favorite parts of the movie, and like the cinematography in it, and it really shows the development of Michael's character too. And then I think the great way it highlights it too is that shows that how him and Kay's relationship is bad, and how he finds real love in Apollonia or whatever her name is, and shows that Kay is just not the one, and how many times that's kind of the whole Michael story arc is kind of related to Kay a little bit in his and it goes to the major themes in the book, the movie, like the family. You know what I mean? Who's in, who's out.
What I would say too is, I think, Michael changes when he first kills the guy in the restaurant. But I would say that his character completely changes when his Italian wife is blown up in the car. And I think at that point, that's when Michael says, screw it, I don't mind being a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind doing more killings
Mm-hmm.
and getting revenge and putting the family's needs above other people's needs. I just don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's, you kind of see that almost with his relationship with Kay when he comes back too. But to me, that is kind of the turning point of his character. But again, I think we leave that as a potential future podcast for us because I think we could have a lot of fun going with that one.
Yeah, I can even talk about the fact. What was I gonna say? Like that scene when he kills Sollozzo and what's the cop's
name? I can't remember.
McCluskey.
Yeah.
McCluskey. Yeah. When he kills Sollozzo and McCluskey, I just think that everything like that was the most tense I've ever felt watching a movie scene. I've told you this before, but like the feeling that I had when he was about to do that, like because you like understand what he's going through, because you put yourself in those shoes and just like the pause that he takes in the bathroom, the way he collects himself, and right after he does, he kind of freezes, and you can see the things going through his head, and he like just like drops the gun and walks out. It's just
even as his eyes are darting around when he comes back from the bathroom
when they zoom in.
And they're trying to talk to him, but you can tell just by his facial expressions that he's not paying attention on lick because he knows what's coming.
Yeah, and then they have like the train sounds in the background.
Yeah.
And then the one more thing that they always talk about is the one flaw that they have is in Godfather 2. You know how Michael kills everyone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone that's against him. The one person that he doesn't kill is Fabrizio. And if you remember who that is, that's the guy when Apollonia's car gets blown up. Remember when you see his guy that was like his bodyguard or whatever, and you can tell that he looks at him and then he runs away and then the car blows up. So it's him that did it. And there's this deleted scene from Godfather 2 of him actually killing him, but they removed it from the movie because they couldn't find a way. And it's on YouTube if you want to look for it. But that guy, so that's like the one thing that everyone kind of talks about. He kills everyone because you know how he does that in the he kills everyone, like all of his enemies.
Yeah.
And he kind of, including Fredo.
Yep.
Worst day of my life.
Buddy.
But yeah, that's it. It was just this was fun. It was we're all over the place. You can tell some movies we definitely know more than others.
Yeah, for sure.
We're not the most knowledgeable. We're just telling you movies we like.
Yeah, and hopefully you enjoyed it. I think for us, the next one we talked about is food,
fast
right?
foods, top 10 fast food joints.
So we're gonna do top 10 fast food restaurants. Again, based on our preferences, we'll do the same thing with honorable mentions.
I don't know what we're gonna do after that.
Well, we could come back and do top 10 of Godfather scenes, or we could
do something different. I don't know.
We could go back. We have a lot to choose from.
I'm also thinking like this is one of my favorite Disney stuff. You know how much I love Disney. Top 10 Disney movies, top 10 Pixar movies.
That. Yeah.
There's just so much. Yeah.
A lot to choose from.
And then music.
Music would be a good one too.
Billy Joel songs. You know how much.
Top 10 artists.
Elton John artists. Yeah. It'll be fun. And then we have TV. We have The Office.
Yeah.
Favorite show of all time. We can go into depths about that.
We could do that for months.
Episodes, characters, everything. So we got the whole spiel. This is fun.
So yeah, so I think this has been another fun one. I love the movies, and hopefully you guys did too.
Episode 3.
Episode 3 is in the books.
We'll see you back here for episode 4. Thank you for listening. If you are, I doubt it, but we'll see you all later. All right, thank you very much. This has been Top 10 Everything.
Top 10 Everything.
Peace. Oh, what the heck? Peace? Okay, bye.